Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon, as we're going to have plenty of things to talk about here on this Tuesday, as we'll give you updates on the latest with Razorback football. Was quiet for a little bit until just before the show started, so we'll get into that. Talk some Razorback basketball, get to our heavy hitters, everything that you all want to talk about in the chat, of course. But guys, it's a Tuesday. It's sunny outside. How are the vibes here on this Tuesday afternoon?
The vibes are good. I got to be honest with you guys. I feel a little bit guarded right now. Like, my defense mechanisms are up. It's kind of weird. You know, I think about the AP poll for the basketball team. It's showing a lot of love to Arkansas for a change. That's kind of weird. The computers are starting to like them. I don't know about that. I feel good. I feel well rested. That's scary as a newborn father. So, like, the vibes are good, and I'm going to embrace it. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, what's getting ready to happen here, man? This is all lining up too perfectly.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of too much time on our hands this week during no basketball game this week. As much as I'm appreciative of the fact that the portal is not open, and appreciative of the fact that there's not 17 different guys entering every single day, I'm glad we got a little bit of news there today. But yeah, it is a little bit of quiet. As Razorback fans, you know how it gets where it's like, it's a little too quiet, huh? Something crazy is about to happen. That's just how we're conditioned. We're expecting crazy stuff, and hopefully Shaq McCroy is the craziest thing to happen today.
Well, given our luck, usually that's not always going to happen. There probably could be more because, you know, for each and every day, really, since, I mean, I know last week was the chaos of introducing Ryan Silverfield and everything, but even since like Friday-ish, it's like each day there's been some reports about a new coach getting hired or some other position or anything like that. And, you know, we talked yesterday about pretty much the whole offensive staff being assembled, still waiting on the defensive staff. And I remember waking up, and of course, I've been dealing with this move and stuff, and I kept waiting to get a text from either y'all or one of the notifications on Twitter of like, this is going on, this has happened, this guy sucks, you know, or whatever. It was nothing. I was like, it's going to be one of them days. And then, as we just alluded to, Shaq McCroy is hitting the transfer portal. Of course, we know he was the Oregon freshman, transferred to Arkansas this past year. And, you know, I think as far as the names go, he was probably the biggest name of people that were really interested in him coming to Arkansas because he was a four-star player coming out of high school. He is truly a massive human being, trying to help out on the offensive line. He did start one game, played in 6 others, but I have no idea where he's going. But as far as players of note to enter into the portal, he's kind of the big one. So just your reactions to seeing Shaq McCrory hitting the transfer portal today.
Yeah, I'm not going to make too huge of a deal out of it because I do subscribe to kind of Andrew's philosophy. I like what you've said about the approach of Ryan Silverfield of, you know, kind of like, hey, if he decides KJ Jackson's his quarterback, then so be it. If he decides he wants to go out and get somebody else, then so be it. Like, it's his team, his program. He's trying to turn this thing around. And so you got to kind of trust in the plan a little bit here. But, you know, just yesterday we talked about Eric Mateos not being retained by Arkansas. Is that going to come back to bite him? Who knows? These guys might be great. I don't know enough about them to determine whether or not that's going to be the case or not. But one of the things we talked about is that core of offensive linemen, promising guys who have played for you, guys who have showed a lot of potential, that you wanted to keep as many of them as possible. And then the day after it happens, you lose Shaq McCroy, who was probably the highest rated recruit. And, he couldn't supplant or get that starting spot full time at, right tackle this year. But a guy that you felt had a lot of potential. He's a mountain of a man. He looks the part, and somebody that you would want to see have success and have it as a Razorback. So, John, you talked about kind of waiting all morning to hear from one of us or get a notification or whatever. Sorry if it was me that notified you by sending the F word in all caps when I saw that, because I like Shaq, I'm not going to go crazy and be like, oh, Silverfield, what the heck, man? They're just leaving him in droves. No, it's nothing like that. But he's one I would have liked to kept. And he's also, as you mentioned, somebody who has scored points for the Razorbacks. Yeah. And that's rare for an offensive lineman.
Real quick, Andrew, just to your point, Curtis, is because luckily I had Twitter notifications turned on for that particular one. But there has been times in our group text where Curtis has said such things and I freak out. I'm like, oh no, what happened? And I was trying to have to go to Twitter, all this stuff. So, but yeah, that's pretty common knowledge now.
Yeah. Nobody, dude, I've never seen anybody who is as tapped in on Twitter news. Like, Curtis has notifications for everybody who reports information on Twitter. It's unbelievable. Woj will tweet something, and he's like, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 3-year deal. Huh, interesting. And I was like, wow. I'm like, how'd you get that quick? But
Andrew, you were sitting by me at Alumni Hall the other day, and I was turning on Lane Kiffin's notifications. You're like, what are you doing?
Listen, I respect it, man. You got to stay. I mean, listen, in what we do, it's a very valuable skill set. But no, with Shaq McCroy, so far, I mean, he's been in college for 2 years. So far, the idea of Shaq McCroy has outweighed, maybe not outweighed literally Shaq McCroy because he does weigh a lot. But like the idea of him is what was exciting. And I remember almost exactly 1 year ago today, whenever he entered the portal, whenever he announced he was coming to Arkansas, I was like, it was a big deal. But I remember kind of being like, hey, everybody be cautious. This guy played 0 snaps at Oregon, and on the offensive line, it's really hard to just step right in and start playing in a big way. And so I would say his 1 year at Arkansas went about how it was supposed to go. Him kind of being that 6th offensive lineman who got some playing time, but maybe wasn't quite an everyday starter, to the point you make, Curtis. Like, that's a guy that, frankly, I would like to have around because, one, former big-time recruit, so there's an upside physically, just an absolute mountain of a man. And like I said, the idea of him is so great. And a guy that's only, going to be a redshirt sophomore next year, it's very possible that in 2 years, Shaq McCroy is an absolute monster, all SEC type of guy. Or, he really is that capable. This is going to be a move that will be directly, like, we'll know how we feel about it once the rest of this O-line room takes shape. If you get a Marion Harris back, you get Cash Courtney back, you get Kobe Branham back, you get Blake Cherry back, you maybe bring in another transfer tackle or something like that, and you start thinking, okay, man, Arkansas's clearly got a very obvious core in place of their starting offensive line, which Shaq McCroy, by the way, no matter what, was going to have somewhat of an uphill battle to get into that starting lineup. Like, if a Marion Harris stays, he's not going to be likely the projected starter at right tackle, and so probably makes sense for him. But at the end of the day, if those other offensive linemen that we like in the room end up transferring, I'm going to look back at this move and be like, dang, so why didn't you keep the redshirt freshman who we all had high hopes for? But all in all, I do think if most of this O-line room stays intact, this isn't a massive loss necessarily, although you do have to replace your goal line threat.
Yes. Yeah, apparently. But that's kind of where I'm at too, where, it's like, if you would have kept him on for another year, it would have been fine. But if he's moving on, I'm not sitting here saying, well, there goes that, it goes any of that hope. And it's interesting because I kind of talked about this on my Locked On this morning. You remember when Chad Morris, of course, went 2-10 back-to-back years, and then Pittman was coming in. I felt like with that situation, there were so many more players that we, at least me, wanted to keep, from that 2-10 year. Which you would think, like, why would you want to keep a bunch of players from a 2-10 team? It's like, well, man, we got to keep, obviously Traylon Burks. Trey Knox was really good. Rakeem Boyd ran for 1,000 yards. Think about KJ Jefferson as a true freshman looked really good. Like, there was always these elements to it, and it's just a little bit different now where, yes, you went 2-10 this past season, but there's just a lot of other players where, not to say that you want them to go, but just there's not a lot that I just want to keep, where I'm like, man, you got to find a way to keep these guys on. And it's just a different element, because I try to go back to that 2-10 deal, and I was like, man, it just either I really hated the coaching staff that much that I'm like, no, there's talent on this team. They're just not being coached well enough, even though they're getting blown out in games. But then this past year, I'm like, a couple, maybe 3 or 4. And then if you move on from them, that's fine too. It's just a different dynamic than what it was a few years ago.
Yes, it absolutely is, man. I agree with that. And, we made a pretty big deal this time a year ago of all the guys who were entering the transfer portal from Arkansas. And a big part of it was because our thought process was, okay, you had the 4-8 year, then you got back to a bowl. Nobody's really happy with that, but can you keep a lot of these promising guys and add on to it through the portal and turn this into a good season? Like, that's kind of the way for Sam Pittman to save himself. And then they had more guys enter the portal than anybody else in the country at the P4 level or whatever. And it was kind of crazy. I mean exactly what I said the entire time throughout this process, especially once it became clear that Bobby wasn't going to be able to turn this thing around, which is they need a complete cleaning of house and a turning of the page. And you got to get that stench out of there. And I'm not saying you got to get rid of every single player on the roster. No, I don't believe that. There are certainly guys that I would love to keep that I think can help them moving forward, who probably, like Silverfield has said in talking to some of these guys, if you think about Quincy Rhodes or KJ Jackson, it's like, okay, these guys want to be part of getting this turn back around. Like, it means something to them. Great. If you're on board, that's awesome. but I'm not going to lose sleep over a single guy on this roster who chooses to enter the transfer portal this year. It's not going to be me. I don't care who it is, how much he produced, whatever. And we'll probably go live and talk about those things as it happens, but I'm not going to be the one that's like, this is devastating. This is horrible. Ooh, massive L and everything like that, because I really think the sooner that you kind of flip this thing on its head here, the better off this program is going to be long-term. Like I said, guys that I would like to have stick around and contribute to the cause next year, but I'm not going to be tripping over it too much either way.
Yeah, I think the big part is you don't want to give yourself more work to do in the transfer portal. That's always been kind of my priority. And this is why last year I was always kind of everyone was brushing off every transfer portal exit. Brad Spence enters the portal, no one cares. Isaiah Satania enters the portal, no one cares. Josh Braun, Patrick Kudus, the list goes on. Everyone dismissed all those things. And it's not that those players were great, but I was like, those were players you did not have to replace. And now that they are leaving, you do have to replace them. And so that's kind of my worry about this. But to your point, I think it's a great one. One, Shaq McCroy wasn't a starter. So it's not like it's like, oh, now we've got to go out and get a starting right tackle. And shout out to John Sullivan in the chat who points out that Kavion Broussard actually played more at right tackle down the stretch. Like Amarian Harris was the starting right tackle. I'm not even sure Shaq McCroy was the backup by the time the season ended. And so, that's up to the previous coach's evaluation. Maybe Silverfield, who, by the way, is evaluating all these guys and has been going through, watching their practice footage and all that. Maybe that's just their evaluation where they're like, hey, we don't see this guy as a starter, so we're not going to pay you starter money, which I've seen a few people talking about the NIL. I have no idea what Shaq McCroy was making last year. We can have the conversation if y'all want, but I don't know, and I don't really care to speculate. But if it's a guy that's not helping you win football games, any amount is too much, frankly. And so, again, like I'm gonna trust this coaching staff's vision, and they know what they want for their program. They know what they want to kind of set this thing up. This move we'll know a lot more about this move in about 2 months when we really know what this O-line is going to look like. If there ends up being a couple glaring holes on the O-line, we're definitely going to look back at this move and be like, are you sure you wanted to kick him out? But I have a sneaky suspicion that they have an idea of who they want to have back. I'm sure they have an idea of which current Razorbacks they want to keep, some of those other guys that we've mentioned. And so I'm with you. I'm definitely not going to lose too much sleep over this move, especially for a guy that has not contributed much in his college career so far.
I won't complain about it too much now, but I'd love to go back and be a hindsight hater if I have to. I'm not afraid of doing that. So I'm with you. If the offensive line doesn't take shape the way that, you hope that it would, then absolutely we'll look back at this one and be like, it might have been a nice body to keep around, but right now, it's whatever.
Well, I think that there's been a lot of that, and you could use the past few years of ones that you may have been upset that they left, and then looking back on it after a year goes by, you're kind of like, actually, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like the Luke Haas thing was a big deal at the time. It was like, dude, you're losing out on this guy. But then it's like, well, you got Rohan Jones, and you're like, well, suddenly it's not as missed as much anymore, But then there are other players that have left. You're like, it would have been really nice to keep them on. It would have been nice to keep having them on. So it's just hindsight's going to be 20/20 in a lot of this. But it's not a matter of looking back on it. It's a matter of, okay, so what can you do to make it work and to put somebody forward into it? But I want to continue the conversation. But I want to remind everybody that the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas is going to help you get your vision to where it needs to be, especially in this time of year where there's so many sporting events going on. You got, of course, football happening, but you got Razorback basketball games you're going to be watching a lot on TV. Maybe some of you are going to go down to Dallas this weekend for the Hogs, take on Texas Tech. But, hey, you may have to be sitting back and watching it. Well, no matter what, you need to make sure that you can see things. You got to make sure you can see the scores. You got to make sure you can see the players and who's doing what. And there's nothing tougher than trying to figure that out with bad vision. So have the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas help you out with their award-winning eye doctors that are board certified and professionally active. And they're able to perform cataract surgery for you before the end of the 2025 year to make your holiday season be in clear view. Don't forget, refractive surgery is also available for patients who are struggling with readers, glasses, or contacts. Surgery options truly for everyone. So you got to make sure you use those FSA benefits before the end of the year. They have availability just for simple eye exams, just to make sure. You may think, hey, my eyes are fine. Well, make sure of it by Dr. Rebecca Brown, who is a new provider. She's available to set up those appointments. So no matter what it is, schedule that appointment to get your eyes fixed and get that vision in clear view with the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas today at 479-442-2020. That's 479-442-2020. You can also check out their website at eyecenternwa.com for more info. So guys, we were talking about obviously the transfer portal and guys. So I agree with everything you've said, but out of curiosity, is there one player that has not decided, at least publicly, one way or another, on the current Razorback roster that should be made as a priority, or who would you think would be the priority to have them come back next season, if any of them at this point?
Has Bradley Shaw said anything publicly?
Not that I've seen.
He would probably be really high on that list for me defensively. Shoot, I don't know. Kobe Branham on the offense. I mean, he started the whole year. He'd probably be up there for me. There's not many, honestly.
Kobe Branham is not like a star, but I mean, if you have a guy who is a redshirt freshman that starts every game in the SEC and is now going to be a redshirt sophomore, the fact that he was even playable makes me feel like that's a guy worth investing in. And I think there would be a lot of value in keeping a lot of this current O-line intact, because a lot of the best O-lines we see are guys that just stick together for a few years. Like that, honestly, is a way bigger criteria for that than necessarily talent or whatever. So I would love to keep pretty much all those O-linemen. Bradley Shaw would probably be way up there on that list. And how about Jaden Platt, the tight end, who time last year was a guy that didn't have much on his resume. And, you mentioned that Luke has conversation, John. Now that we look at here a year later and we're like, dude, Jaden Platt is a guy that you got to keep. I think he would definitely be on that list. That's pretty much the short list. There's a few other guys you can make a case for, certainly on that O-line, but that's the short list of guys that would be the first conversation.
Well, I'll take it to a step, because I agree with the few of the names that got thrown out there, but Scott Starzik, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. It's like he wasn't perfect, but we read his stats the other day. It's almost like there's this idea that he wasn't that accurate, but he was like 14 of 18. Like for a true freshman, it's really good. It's unfortunate because some of the kicks that he missed, though, were just in the most crucial times that would have been game changers. Like the Ole Miss game, if he makes 2 of those field goals, the ones that he missed, Arkansas wins that game. Or against LSU, they win that game. So it's like they were just very consequential. But listen, if that's a true freshman doing that, and the fact that he was that accurate, and the kicks that he missed, yes, again, they're in clutch situations. You got to do better than that. But as a true freshman, you missed them on the road, like in those situations. It's like I want to see how his growth can be and where he can go from. So, anyways, I think it'd be great.
By like a combined 20 feet or something like that. Like the kicks that he missed were like 43 yarders that missed by like a yard or two. It's not one of those things where it's like you're questioning his capability as a kicker. 14 of 18, I can live with. I know that some of them were tough, and that certainly put a damper on it. But yeah, I think you definitely gotta bring Starzik back.
Yeah, I would throw that out there. But as far as anybody else goes, because I said the Jaden Platt, which I think hasn't been official, but if Morgan Turner is coming back, I feel like you got a good shot at that, at least, assuming that he's going to go that route. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend, I know exactly how Ryan Silverfield's going to utilize all the tight ends. Like, I mean, yeah, you'd like for that to happen. But somebody asked me, he's like, hey, what kind of offense do you think Ryan Silverfield's going to run? I was like, an effective one. Like, I honestly don't know, because people are like, he's just going to run the same thing from Memphis. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some elements to it, but hopefully he just looks at the personnel that he has and adheres to the strengths of who he has on roster. But
he gave a pretty lengthy answer about that at his press conference. We need to clip out and just have it on deck when people start asking that question.
Yeah, because it's like, again, I'm not saying everyone does this, but I feel like just they put themselves in the EA Sports college football game, and they're looking at playbook, and they're like, does he run a multiple? Does he run what was it, the veer and rear or whatever it's called? I'd say, yeah, sure. That's what he runs.
The only thing I really remember about him saying in that particular quote, he was like, we're not going to be running as much pistol as they have here in the past. I'll tell you that right now. I was like, well, okay.
Didn't like the pistol, eh?
Yeah, take a step back, shotgun it. Gotcha.
I wonder why he was so anti-pistol. Like, I mean, not to say that it's the best, but like, when he's just sitting there, has the entire answer that he wants to give. He's like, I tell you what, we're not doing, running that stupid pistol formation. It's like, all right.
I hope that they incorporate substantially more play action in their game. That's the one thing that Arkansas's offense was good the last couple of years. Such a high percentage of Taylon Green's throws were just straight up pure dropbacks, that there's no play action, no rollout, no anything, no screen. It was a lot of like, hey, you have to sit in the pocket and make plays. I would like to see an offense that is actually more suited to, making the quarterback's life a little bit easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I hopefully the offensive line is just as good this year or better than what it was this past year. But I just don't want to see the quarterback having to run for their lives a lot because that sucks. That's not a fun offense to have. You could be as effective in the running attack. But I try to even think about, I went on a radio show this morning. They were asking about transfer portal and all that. It's not like a shock in the way of so surprising, but it is going to be funny thinking about next season. Of the 22 starters, literally 19 of them will be like brand new people we've probably never even heard of. Like we're not even thinking about right now. And that's just shows you how it is now in college football. Because, it's like, okay, Quincy Rhodes is going to start. So it's like, we know that because he's officially back. KJ Jackson, though, we don't know for sure if he's going to start. And so even just give and take a 3 or 4, there are going to be guys on this roster that you've never heard of right now. You may not even be thinking about. And that's always another question that I really get hated asked, not to anybody out there, but just, hey, so who do you think they're going to get in the portal? It's like, I don't know because we don't know who's in the portal right now. So
this is happening with a lot of rosters, obviously in college football. It's made like projecting and setting the pecking order in the preseason so much more difficult to do. Remember some of the conversations we had about this football team. I distinctly remember being out at Freedom Boat Club. We were talking about the secondary and we were like, maybe it's better just because there's different faces out there, but maybe these guys are just the same as Cuddy Robinson and all these other dudes. Like we don't know until we see them because you got to do so much projection from the G5 ranks up to the SEC and how is this going to fit? What is it going to mean scheme wise? And to your point, John, like you're going to have like almost an entirely flipped group of starters. And I'm sure it's going to be kind of the case on the 2 deep as well. We're really going to be doing the mental gymnastics of, okay, are these guys better because it's different? Or is it going to be more of the same? Like, are they more talented, less talented? We're going to have a lot of conversations about that. I have a feeling for better or worse. I mean, who the hell knows what it's going to look like? But when we're doing the Arkansas is going to win this many games, or this is how they look against these teams on the schedule, there are going to be some people that are so wrong, and it's not even their fault because there's going to be so much speculation until we actually see them play.
Yeah, so let's play a game real quick. Let's assume that Miguel Mitchell is going to return for his senior year and is going to start at one of the safety spots, which honestly isn't a crazy assumption. If that is true, let's also assume that Bradley Shaw returns and starts at one of your linebacker spots, and Quincy Rhodes returns and starts at your DN spot. You would still need 4 starting DBs, at least 1 starting linebacker, and 3 starting defensive linemen. Ian Jaffard technically is a returning starter. Perhaps you just run it back with him in the middle, and I'm sure he's going to play some if he returns, but that's like pretty much the entire defense. And to the secondary, I mean, literally, Selman Bridges, Nigel Pringle, Akari Johnson, Miguel Mitchell. Those are the only 4 guys, and Miguel's the only one that's played real snaps. Selman played like a handful of snaps, but it's like you not only need to get your starters, you have to get your backups from the portal. You have to get your back. I mean, they've got some nice young players, J.J. Shelton, Wyatt Simmons in the linebacker room, but it's like you need a lot of veterans there as well. Like there is a lot, which is why it comes back to the point of like, I don't want to add more to our workload. Like C.J. Brown might not blow you away. I don't want to boot C.J. Brown out of town because I don't want to have to go get another receiver on top of the 4 DBs I got to get, the linebacker, the 3 defensive linemen at least. And so, that defensive side of the ball, man, there's going to be a lot of, who is that guy? Where did he transfer from? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Well, luckily for us too, just for us and fans, there's not enough of those types of caliber players on this team to where if they do enter in the portal and they go to like some other school, you're not gonna be like, oh gosh, we just got outbid for them. Most of the time, it's gonna be like, yeah, we're good, thanks. Because like last year with Haz and Mitchell or is it Braxton, and then the Metcalf kids, like all that was just, you got outbid, especially because of the schools they went to. And I always think that's a very telling thing. It's like, what schools do they end up going to? Because I was even trying to think, additions go, since the transfer portal became a thing, like who was the greatest transfer portal addition Arkansas had under Pittman? Like who would you guys say was the best one he ever had?
Drew Sanders.
I was going to say that too. Yeah. I think it's pretty obvious there too. Cause that guy was
a great class, dude. That whole class.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's when I remember talking about it. It's like, I know, because I think the first year NIL was able to be used. It's like that year you could tell Arkansas had some dough. Like Drew Sanders wasn't coming to Arkansas for free 99. They weren't adding Dwight McGlothern from LSU, who like started and played a lot down there for nothing. And what was it? Latavius Brini, I know from Georgia. Jaden Hazelwood, that guy. Sheesh. You think he was just like, Oklahoma's paying me a bunch, but I'm going to go to Arkansas because I love the Hogs. Come on.
Hey, let's talk money for just a second. Now, this is obviously going to be a fake conversation because we just don't know some of these numbers, some of these metrics. But if you really think about who's on the hook for Arkansas next year, who is like Quincy Rhodes, I would assume that is a guy that is making a substantial amount of NIL. At least I hope he is. If he's not, then his agent needs to be fired. But like outside of him, is KJ Jackson warranting a ton? I know that some chatters believe he is. I don't believe he's making – I don't think he was making a ton last year. I don't think he's making a ton this year. I think Shaq McCroy was one of their overspends last year in the portal. So getting him off the books actually might help there. In terms of being outbid, there's really no reason. I mean, unless it's like a guy that's like a 5-star that has offers from Georgia and Bama or whatever, but it's like – it's not like Arkansas has a ton on the books right now. So it's like, in terms of building this roster, I'm not saying they have money for days or anything, but it's like, even last year's team, you had some returning guys who, like Taylor Green, cost a ton of money. You had Cam Ball coming back. You had Xavier Story coming back. Like, those are guys you were paying Keyshawn Blackstock still. It's like you had a lot of guys that were like still on the hook while you're trying to build your roster. The fact that Arkansas has unlimited flexibility right now is actually kind of exciting.
It really is. Yeah, I would agree with that. I was thinking about that earlier, like because I think it was Kingsley in the chat that was like, we're kind of in that negotiation season with the returning players, because until January, you can say, hey, like I intend to enter the portal or whatever, but it's not technically open until next month. So all those conversations are being had. And we've talked so much about, those guys talking to each other. Is this a fit for me? Do I want to stay? Do they want to keep me around? What is it going to look like here? Does it make sense? The finances are also a thing. And so that's something that it's going to be interesting with Silverfield. Maybe he's getting to know Remy. I don't know, but sitting down and being like, all right, well, here's your payroll with all these guys coming back. And I wonder how many guys Silverfield's looking at going, no, we paid this to get that. What? No. And the conversations they're having to have there of, hey, you're welcome to stay, but how about at half? Because we're going to go out and get some guys and you're not one of them. I just don't know.
By the way, I see this from Zach, because he says there should be, and he says no reason why we can't poach Bama or Georgia's backups and give them more money to start for us. That has been happening at Arkansas for the better part of a decade. Like, frankly, like Drew Sanders is an example of that. Xavier Story, an example of that. Jaheim Singletary, an example of that. Latavius Brini, an example of that. Like, it is a thing. Sam Pittman just stopped recruiting the last 2 or 3 years, which, again, leads you to believe, like, what was Arkansas doing last portal season other than failing in a bidding war for Jamal Jarrett? Like, that was the only possible chance they had. But you're right. There is nothing stopping you from doing it, which is why I think it's so stupid when all these schools complain about, we just can't get good players. We just can't find them anywhere. It's like, they're literally at every single school. Every single school has players that can play for you. You just got to go take them.
Yeah. And I think with like the approach that you have in the transfer portal is very important, of like the aggressive nature that you have. But I can't help but think, and this is just one of my theories, Quincy Rhodes and KJ Jackson were the only 2 players that I think Silverfield was like, I want them on my team next year for sure. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that there haven't been talks and trying to negotiate, but given the circumstance of how we heard at the very first press conference, these 2 guys are coming back. I think that without question, those were 2 guys that they're prioritized. And like, maybe it was Silverfield game planning against Quincy Rhodes, at Memphis. He's like, that dude's got it. We want him back. So I felt like there would have been a lot more players announcing that they were returning because we're talking about priorities. I think those were probably not saying the only ones, but the 2 main ones. And then the other ones, let's work out and see what we can do, which could be a good thing. Could be a bad thing. But I also wonder too, guys, do you think Arkansas ever got their money back from Madden? Like, do you think that ever happened?
And we haven't heard anything about that, have we?
No.
There's no way they got that money back.
Yeah, you're right. The answer is no.
Yeah. I was just wondering if like they had any settlements, anything like that. Because we're coming up, what was that, like 9 months ago, roughly, when all that stuff went down. So I don't know. Maybe one day we'll hear. That should have been something that Hunter Yurchik got asked about in that press conference. I'm sure nobody would have cared but me. But it's just like, hey, by the way, talking about money, did you ever get that money back? Like, did he? Did you get a Venmo from him or anything like that? Seeing if it's a return. But I guess we'll probably never know. We'll continue the conversation. We'll get into some basketball talk here in a little bit too, folks. I want to remind everybody, OZK Insurance is going to have you covered when it comes to all things insurance, because nobody wants to deal with the hassle of shopping around. And that's why we always use and always recommend OZK Insurance. They're based right here in Arkansas, and they shop multiple carriers to find the best coverage and price for you. And it doesn't matter if it's home, auto, business, any insurance, you name it, they do it. And we know that each and every one of you are all about saving time and money, because that's something we all want to save. That's what they're going to help you out with as well. They serve the entire state of Arkansas, all the cities, everywhere. And they also have over 600 5-star Google reviews. That's right, over 600 5-star Google reviews. So you don't have to take our word for it. Take the word of it of all those people who go on and review things on Google, because 600 5 stars, that's a lot of great players. That's a championship roster, if you will. So start today with a free online quote at ozkinsurance.com or call 479-715-4200. That's 479-715-4200. It's OZK Insurance, protection made simple. So, I know that the transfer portal is just something we're going to have to wait till January to really get to know things. That's why I always find it funny when they're like, so-and-so it's like intends to enter into the portal, I guess, is what they say. It's like they intend to do it, or they want to. Yeah. So I don't know because people keep asking about it. I think it's just because the date change and it's tough for everyone to keep up on. They're like, when's the portal? When are we going to start getting some guys? It's like, well, you can't yet.
Like a month.
just wait, and then it'll all come crashing through, and then like I said, we'll make it happen. But let's see. Also, I know that with Razorback basketball, shifting gears a little bit, of course, playing Texas Tech this weekend down there in Dallas, guys. I know a lot of Razorback fans that are going to this game, not just traveling down there, but also going to be down there. So I'm praying that it's going to be. They used to call it Barnhill South back in the day when they would play teams down there in Dallas, but I'm really hoping that the atmosphere, which I'm sure there'll be Texas Tech fans there too, but I'm really hoping that there's a huge crowd down there for Arkansas and getting to watch, hopefully, this team win another big game away from Bud Walton. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, you and me both. How far is Lubbock from Dallas?
I was just about to
know.
Great question. I will research that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably pretty similar distance, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think Lubbock is close to anything, frankly.
It's about this actually the same amount. It's about 5 hours.
So that means it's going to be like an 85% Razorback crowd.
I like the way that sounds, man. Mm-hmm. The Baylor Arkansas atmosphere there last year was pretty good. I'm trying to remember the split though.
I think it was more Baylor than Arkansas, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
and that's a little closer, but that was a lot of fun. It's going to be awesome, man. This is a big time game. It's kind of got all the ingredients, like it's a top 20 matchup. It's in an NBA arena. It tugs at the old nostalgia, from back in the day. And you've got the history recently with the NCAA tournament. Like, there's just a lot going on there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for it. It's a great test for Arkansas. I go into this kind of feeling like I think the Razorbacks, top to bottom, are the better team. I just don't know what they're going to do with JT Toppin. I especially after what Cam Boozer did to him, I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know if they're going to have an answer for that. Now, does Texas Tech have enough beyond him, like Duke did, to get through it? If Arkansas's guys are playing well, we'll see. But it's a hell of a game, a hell of an opportunity, and should be highly attended. I just wish it wasn't an 11 a.m. tip. That's the only thing about it where I'm like, this seems like a primetime game to me, but whatever.
The thing that helps with this is that, we always talk about travel, and we assume when we say travel that everyone's traveling from Fayetteville. There's a lot of fans that are going to be at this game that don't have to travel at all, that are going to just be there. There's people in this chat that are from that area as well. So it's like, that's going to be nice. I love, when we started playing in Jerry World, we started doing this thing where we're like, oh, it's going to help recruiting and it's going to whatever, yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying that it actually worked, but like, considering the fact that every single student at the University of Arkansas is now from Dallas, it certainly didn't hurt. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I want Arkansas I want them to actually win some of these games in Dallas so that we can kind of keep this cool, fun pipeline going, and it can be a fun thing. Because like, when's the last time we went to Dallas and had fun?
Seriously,
it's been a long time, bro. I mean, baseball we've had some okay trips in Arlington. But it's like, dude, we honestly don't. We have so many fans in Dallas. We have so many like awesome scheduling things in Dallas. Most of them go poorly. So it's like we gotta start making that not a house of horrors.
Yeah, because I was thinking about in football, of course, obviously the A&M game was there every year. It didn't go well. And baseball does go well, but like basketball, I mean, I'm trying to think of the last time they played in Dallas. Like I know they played in Dallas in the NCAA tournament and like Ronnie Brewer's year when they lost to Bucknell, and that wasn't great. They actually, ironically enough, I don't know if anybody remembers this, Arkansas beat Texas Tech in Dallas back when Bobby Knight was the head coach there, where Sean McCurdy hit a half-court shot.
Hit a half-court shot, right?
Yeah, right before halftime. So I'm sure that there's a game in Dallas that I'm missing out on. But I also felt like, because maybe you guys remember that Texas game in like Mike Anderson's final year, that was the first game of the year. Was that in Dallas? Or was it
Fort Bliss or whatever?
It was at like some military site, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where that
anyways.
is, but
Right. So I guess the point is like you haven't had much success there. Oh, I got one. SMU. You guys remember when Arkansas went down there? Bobby Portis, Michael Qualls.
I do remember.
And
that.
Larry Brown was the coach.
I was
going to
say, was that a Larry Brown team?
That was a good SMU stretch there too.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's have that. Let's not let the thing from Baylor, because they only lost. Is it just me, Curtis? Because I know me and you were there. Arkansas lost by 3 in that game, I believe, but it didn't feel like they lost by 3. It felt like they lost by like 20.
Man. Yeah. They did not play well in that game. It was a really weird one. Jonas was limping around. It was kind of a struggle bus. I remember leaving there thinking neither one of these teams are very good now. And it turns out they weren't. And then they both kind of figured it out by the end of the year, which was cool. But man, this is going to be fun. I love Cal says he hates it. Like he said he didn't even want to schedule this game, but he really wanted to play in Dallas, and this is the team that it worked out with. They wanted to play a good team there, and so they wound up doing it. They're going to downplay it all week, but there is going to be super motivation from the Arkansas side for this one. Like you can't tell me that DJ Carter, Billy, and TB don't have a huge chip on their shoulder for this game. And so we talk so much about the freshmen and how important they are, and obviously getting Malik Ewan going and getting Pringle back to where he was early in the season. All that stuff is super important. If there were ever a game this season with this team that I looked at and said, this is the one where your core 4 of guys coming back need to be the ones who step up and shoulder the load, it's this one right here. So I'm super excited about it. I saw Cal on his radio show last night that he called in from, by the way. He was on a recruiting visit, so he called in. But that he said, they showed Malik Ewan the Florida State tape against Louisville to kind of get him motivated. And he said, hey, I did the same thing with Carter and DJ, showing him that Texas Tech film from last year. Like, play like that, remember how it felt, and let's see what it looks like on Saturday. So looking for some big things from those guys for sure.
Real quick, I was just going to say, do you think if Arkansas wins, is Cal going to be like, for DJ, for Carter, and me? Like, is he going to do like the Kentucky game? That'd be awesome.
For Jonas and Nelly.
For Boogie.
It would concern me if Arkansas didn't have a chip on their shoulder. Like, you know how sometimes you'll have the coach, you'll have to sit the player down and be like, hey, I know you transferred from here and you really want to beat these guys, but remember the game plan, remember to stay calm, remember to stay composed. I want Cal to have to give that speech because he sees his team in the locker room before the game and they're so amped up that they can't wait to get out there. And honestly, man, I think back to the Michigan State game, the only reason Arkansas does not currently have a marquee road win on their resume over Michigan State is because Carter Knox and Trevin Brazile completely no-showed the most important game of the year to that point. They were a complete non-factor in that game. That's where Brazile got in his little foul trouble. Knox, that was his first game back, and we started doing the is he hurt thing. I think that should add to these guys' motivation of like, listen, if we have our guys who are supposed to be good just show up and give us a presence, that we can beat anybody. And I feel like they've learned that by now. And so I want to see some redemption in more ways than one.
So my question is, Kirsch, you talked about they wanted to play a good team down there, maybe not Texas Tech. Like, was there an actual team that they were targeting, or like what type of team? Were they wanting some team far away from Dallas so that way they feel like they have somebody? Like, I'm just curious of like why, maybe not saying that they were anti-Texas Tech, but why somebody different?
I don't know that it was. I think he didn't want to play that game. Cal always does the thing where he says, I never go back and watch the last game of the year from my teams. Because like, unless you cut down the nets, it's a loss. Like, you don't want to relive those memories. And he really does the thing of like, new team, I don't want you looking back kind of thing. So that's all that was about. I was kind of surprised the Houston game wasn't one that they looked to play there. It's weird that Arkansas and Houston are going to Newark to play a basketball game. Whatever, like I'll take it. I know Gonzaga was one of the schools that was in discussion for that one there in Dallas, which would have been cool. It wound up not working out. I imagine they'll probably play each other next year. In hindsight, I'm glad that Arkansas is not playing Gonzaga this season because, man, they're a wagon right now. Ask Kentucky how they feel about that one. But yeah, and I don't know who else would have made sense to play there. It wasn't going to be Baylor because they screwed you on the home game that you were supposed to get this year. Texas is in your league now. Who even else is down there that would make sense? Like maybe they could have played like an Arizona or something, kind of meet in the middle type of deal.
I
don't know
those boys right now. Either.
I wouldn't want to see them either right now. You're right. So yeah. I don't know. It worked out. Texas Tech makes a lot of sense to me.
As much as he says he doesn't look back, people forget that as the coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, Cal is undefeated against teams that eliminated him in the tournament the year before. He got his lick back against Oakland. He's going to get his lick back against Texas Tech this weekend. He's dominant in these matchups.
You're right.
Well, I tell you what, as part of our Alumni Hall question of the day presented by our friends over at Alumni Hall, it's the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. You need some great gifts for the family. Get them the nicest and greatest Razorback apparel you can possibly have. It doesn't matter if it's Columbia. It doesn't matter if it's Southern Tide. It doesn't matter if it's Johnny O. They have all the high-end Razorback gear you could possibly want, not only for the men, but for the women, for the kids, for everybody involved. And it makes for a great gift. They also have gift cards that are available for you as well. And as a reminder, next Friday, folks, we will be live from Alumni Hall there in Fayetteville. That's right. Next Friday, we're going to have all the great deals that they have going on. And of course, do some giveaways for that as well. So head over there to the website at insidearkansas.com/Alumni Hall. When you go there, you can have it ordered and shipped directly to your door in time for Christmas. But if you're in the Fayetteville area, go ahead and check them out at 3417 North College Avenue. When you go in there, be sure to use promo code HOGSBY20 to get 20% off your purchase. It's Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. And so, guys, since Arkansas is playing Texas Tech this weekend, and we know Houston's the other one, you want to win both. And this is the other thing, too, that always pisses me off about people in these poll questions. It's like, I know you want to win both, but if you can only win one of them, which one is it going to be for you guys? Texas Tech, Houston, you only get to win one of them. Which one would you rather win?
Got to be honest with you, it's Texas Tech. Houston would probably age the best. You know, they're the better team. That would probably resonate more nationally and everything, but I want the lick back, man. This one means something to me. I know it means something to the team. I thought it was interesting what Andrew said yesterday about how the Houston game, as cool as it is, it's like right before Christmas and then everybody's going on break. It just feels like that one's going to kind of melt away either way there. It's Texas Tech for me. I want to go down there and get those dudes. Really do. Either one of them would be a huge win, but that would be my pick.
Yeah, I agree with everything Curtis just said. And I do definitely feel the point of like this win. Like I think about it of like, what would the world look like if Arkansas were to win each game? If they win Saturday, I'm going to spend, the next week or so just vibing, feeling great about my life. I'll go into Christmas holidays happy no matter what. At that point, we're going into the Houston game with house money, in my opinion. I know that a lot of fans might not view it that way because you're like, man, I didn't want to go 2-3 in these 5 big games. But for me personally, especially since they started 0-2, it's certainly not going to hurt my feelings. And yeah, I also like the idea, like Houston is the type of team that, you have to beat to win the national title. I like the premise of Arkansas losing a close game there and kind of having that barometer in their minds the rest of the year of like, okay, we're not quite on, because they're going to beat Texas Tech, maybe even beat them comfortably. They'll be feeling themselves a little bit. They'll beat Queens very easily. They'll be feeling themselves a little bit, and then they're going to get brought back down to earth by Houston. I think that could be the exact right thing to happen for them right as you go into SEC play. And I think Tennessee, frankly, is a worse version of Houston. I know they're a little bit different, but I think Tennessee is like conceptually a similar team to Houston, but not as good.
And Tennessee beat them.
Yeah, but still.
But I agree. I agree.
Too. Arkansas is getting Tennessee at home. I think that if they lose to Houston, they will play Tennessee at home and play very well, given that they just, how it is. Like the hungry dog runs faster. You're coming off a loss. You're a little bit more motivated. I want Arkansas to start off 1-0 in SEC play. I think losing to Houston is the way to do that.
I like the way your gears are turning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is next level. I mean, listen, you can't get this kind of stuff anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing is like, I agree with you guys too, as far as just it being Texas Tech, because I just look at it for maybe the perspective of the fans' sake, it's like, we know there's going to be a lot more Razorback fans that are traveling down and going to this game in Dallas than there will be in Newark. I mean, that's just the facts. Yeah. So it'll be in front of a lot more fans. It'll be because of the revenge game from a year ago, or like not even a year earlier this year, when losing to Texas Tech. And I think that the timing of it, and I think that was important, like you were talking about, Andrew, is just like the timing of it right before SEC play, that if you lost the game to Houston, which again, you want to win both, but if you lost the game to Houston, maybe that's the kind of the thing to get you extra motivated and get recharged and rejuvenated for that huge game that you have to start the season against Tennessee. So I think it's fair to say that. And if you're looking at the very accurate poll of Razorback fandom, 54% say Texas Tech. So pretty close there. But 54% say Texas Tech this weekend. So hopefully they get it done, and hopefully it ends up being a lot more exciting. I'd be also curious too if Arkansas does beat Texas Tech this weekend. Not that it matters, but when that AP poll comes out on Monday, depending on what everybody else does in front of them, how much do they move up? Because if I'm not mistaken, Texas Tech is 15th or 14th, something
16,
like
16 versus 17. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know how much they'll move up, but maybe if some teams lose in front of them, they'll bounce up a bit.
It can't be overstated, though. In real life, though, the answer is Texas Tech, because we're going to be there. If we're driving down to Dallas, come on, that's going to be a long 5-hour trip back if they lose.
Yeah, because did we only go to 3 basketball games where all 3 of us went last year, like away from Fayetteville?
Well, if you remember, the only NCAA tournament game I actually attended was the Texas Tech game.
Oh, I thought you were still in the building, though, weren't you?
In Providence? No, he was chilling at the bar.
I was at the pubs, bro.
So maybe that's why we don't need to have Andrew go to the NCAA tournament games anymore. It's just be like,
although y'all
Andrew, you go to the bar.
Don't put that juju on me now.
Yeah, right. You go to the bar, Andrew. So just have at it. But
maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just find a local establishment in Dallas this weekend.
Yeah. Well, listen, we do have a local establishment, by the way. Still was waiting on some logos and graphics to announce it, but it's always that's going on. But people have been asking, what's the post game situation going to look like? That is the positive about it being an 11 a.m. game. Is that we at least are going to have some fun when it comes to doing our post-game show. We're going to be at Chop Sports Victory Park, by the way. Chop Sports Victory Park, which is literally right next to the arena, like connected to it. And we're going to be set up for the Pod the Palace post-game show there. So if you want to get done with the game and celebrate our great Razorback win with us, that's where we're going to be, doing a live show from there. So really looking forward to it.
If you are at home and you're ready to tap into the Pod the Palace post-game show, bear with us. Because I know we always start as soon as the final buzzer and everything, it's going to be a minute because the place doesn't even open until the game's nearly over for starters. And then we'll have to get literally everything set up to go live. So it won't be a boom, game ends and we go live type of situation there. Give us, 15 minutes or whatever, and we'll get rolling.
I'll say this. It might be if Arkansas is up by 30.
Well, yeah, then
we're going to be, this is curtains. It's over. But if they're down by 30, then it will probably still be the same thing. So it just won't be as fun.
We're expecting the dog.
Luckily, it's an 11 a.m. game. So it's like the end of the game's 1 o'clock or whatever. It's like, you can wait from 1 to 1:30. I always feel bad when it's like 10 p.m. and we're like trying to get going. And it's like, oh, crap. We start at 10:30, then we're gonna be going till midnight.
I can already feel my phone vibrating because Michelle always does the thing like when she knows we're kind of setting everything up. She's like doing the chat monitor thing. And she's like, "Hey,
what can I
put
tell
something
them?
in there? Like, what's your ETA?" And I'll be like, I remember we were in Hot Springs. It's like, I don't even know what's going on right now. We can't get on the internet. She's like, the guys will be ready in about 10-15 minutes. Hang tight.
Yep. I remember that because I was also back here waiting on y'all, and then I just see her in the chat being so sweet, just be like, all right, guys, it's gonna happen here soon. Don't worry. Appreciate everybody.
Yeah, they're getting their lighting and makeup done now, and they'll be ready to start. So
those moments really aren't that long, but they feel like the longest moments of all time. Where it's like, good Lord, bro, this is miserable.
Yeah, it's brutal, but either way, it should be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and we're gonna because here's kind of how my thing is gonna be when we're just doing production planning and everything here. There's always a chance that internet may not be what it is or needs to be where it's at. So the absolute worst case scenario is that we will record a show and then make it go live immediately as soon as we get it uploaded. Yeah. So we'll figure it out.
If you're in Dallas, then you can just like some of the people at Blue Ember did that day.
Yeah.
Show up there at the bar, and while we were recording it, it's a live show for you.
That's right.
We'll take questions from the audience there if it wound up being the case. We will make it work. So,
yep.
By the way, do we have anybody in the chat? Any of our regulars that are going to be there in Dallas?
Yeah, let us know.
Because I mean, seriously, like, come by. We'll be right there. But it's always a good chance, like if we're in that area, to come say what's up.
Yep, absolutely. And again, reminder, folks, it's going to be Chop Sports Victory Park. I want to keep calling it Chop House, and it's not. So, but it's right there. You can't miss it. It'll be right there, and it's going to be a lot of fun for Pot at the Palace post game show. So we'll have our heavy hitters, but we're also going to get into your chats, folks, and want to remind everybody that Hickey and Hole Law is the official law firm of us here at Inside Arkansas. And it doesn't matter the type of cases that you need, they can help you out with. The divorce and custody cases obviously are extremely important and ones that they know all about, but also criminal cases, civil litigation cases, personal injury cases, estate planning, all the works. They do it all. And they are always about building that relationship with their clients because they provide that honest, principled advice and representation. And they're always going to push the case forward for their clients, advocating for them in a diligent and consistent manner from start to finish because they know that every case that they take is extremely important and they strive to give each one of them the utmost care and time that it deserves. So have Hickey and Hole Law take care of you when it comes to all of your legal needs. You can call them today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. Or you can check out their website at hickeyandhole.com. Scan that QR code right there on your screen. It'll take you there as well. It's Hickey and Hole Law. Things are about to get better.
Hey, real quick, you guys will appreciate this because we all do this, but sometimes you feel really good about a transition you make from a segment into an ad read or whatever. And I was recording Pod at the Palace last night, and I was doing the whole bit of like who won the divorce between Cal and Kentucky, since everybody's been talking about that. And no sooner than I finished that, it was just like a spur of the moment thing. Hickey and Hole Law it's not even on the ad schedule until like Thursday or something. I was like, no, I'm doing it now. And tied that into the divorce thing. Flawless. I felt really, really good about it. Anyway.
Yeah. They're going to call us and be like, we are a Thursday ad run.
Yeah,
do not ever go on.
Yeah. What is this?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to send y'all a text, be like, hey guys, just to let you know, it's Thursdays only.
No, schedule, will you?
Yeah, they'll be great with it. But no, it's funny because as much as when I do an ad reads, I've been doing ad reads for a long time. The best person that ever would take ad reads and like make them into segues, Tommy Kraft, man. That dude, because there were so many of them. It's almost like he would set himself up to be like, the thing about Arkansas is just like they just got cooked. They just got cooked yesterday. But speaking of cooking, you need to go head over to this place. And it's just like, it was setting yourself up for it.
There was a Locked On Sixers podcast back in the day that like right around the time all the like George Floyd stuff was going on, they were doing a podcast talking about all of it. And they were like, yeah, it's a tough day. It's not a tough day when you can sign up for whatever. And like we're and like it went super viral. It's like, bro, you can't do that. Y'all want to know something funny real quick before we get into the chat? Cats by 21 says that Curtis needs to move on.
I need to move on.
Cats by 21 it has come to the Razorback podcast where he is every single day. Nary a blade of grass in sight, but he's always here telling us to move on.
I had to talk about it. We talk about trending topics on the show, and you're all ready to run Mark Pope out of town. So I'm not the one doing did we make a mistake moving on from Cal? That's y'all, man.
Listen, and I'm never going to get over it. I'm never going to move on because I never forget. And I'll never forget the horrible things that I had said to me during that couple of weeks leading up to that game, getting death threats. And I know it wasn't all of y'all Kentucky fans, but I'm like, I am never forgetting it. In fact, it's funny because on my YouTube thing this morning, when it's just like I was trying to do stuff for moving, the game from last year's highlights from our guy War Machine popped up, and I stopped and I'm like, I want to watch these. And so I did, and it was great. So
Here's the thing. Because people they say, well, don't be too harsh on them, right? Because karma, it'll come back and get you. Like at some point, Kentucky will be good again, and Arkansas will lose a game. It doesn't matter. If Arkansas loses a game, they're going to be in there yapping no matter what their situation is. So I'm going to get mine when I have the opportunity. That's the way this stuff works, man. Yeah.
And hey, listen, we only got like 5 total years maybe of Cal. We're gonna get our licks in here when we can, for sure.
Exactly.
All right, so let's get to the chats, folks. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Quinn's still on it. Quinn says, just here to remind everybody of Bammer privilege. Never going to forget.
Dude, we we hit in stream on the show yesterday, and it takes like 10 seconds for it to come off all the platforms. And usually as soon as it's over, John will be like, and we're out. That way we know, like, permission to speak freely. We're no longer live. Before that even happened, we had DMs from Quinn about about the same stuff we've been talking about. He's on it, man.
Yeah, he's pissed about it. And he also asked, are y'all still going to be coming to Auburn? It's the plan.
Like yeah,
it's the plan.
When is that? January, sometime in January?
Yeah, I was actually just about to look that up and double check it, because I know that the Valentine's Day is when they play in Fayetteville. It's January 10th, Saturday, January 10th. So.
We'll go as long as we can get a guaranteed meeting with Alex Golish.
Yeah, I need to talk to him.
We just want to talk. We just want to talk. We're not, and seriously, we just want to talk.
Yeah.
It is all we do is talk.
We'll get a sit down interview with him. Can't get one with Silverfield, but we'll get one with Golish.
That's right.
And make that happen.
I will. I still stand on this. We've been to a lot of places at this point. Auburn is my favorite non-Arkansas campus that I've been to.
For sure.
For a game. We had a hell of a time there. We really did. So, yeah, I'd love to go back.
Yeah, awesome place. Which, by the way, shout out to not only Ryan Silverfield following me on Twitter, guys, but Coach Myers, the new offensive line coach, has followed me. That's two. That's more than I've ever had. Some of the other coaches unfollowed me, though, that aren't no longer employed. It made me sad.
You get blocked by anybody?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I haven't. I could check, I guess, but I don't think I've been blocked by anybody.
To be fair, though, if I we're no longer at a school and we're not retained or whatever, I probably wouldn't want to see any Arkansas posts either. I'd be like, screw these guys.
No.
Every now and again, I'll get a notification like on IG or Twitter or something, and it's like a player that Arkansas was connected with in the portal like 6 years ago. And I'm like, why do I still have your notification? You didn't even come here, bro. And it feels good to go on follow those people. But
you're like Davon McKinney's getting married. That's good.
Yeah.
Davion McKinney. Because that's I was looking at it too, where I was trying to find all the new coaches to follow. Some of them I don't think have Twitter. Like I don't think David Johnson has Twitter. I tried to see if he has it, but Ron Roberts
did see a
has
video of David Johnson dancing on Twitter yesterday.
Look good.
Was it good or bad?
I mean, it was well better than Chad Morris, but he was doing a little celebration on the field.
Yeah. Okay. We'll
I know exactly what you're talking about. I thought he did well.
Yeah, that was very good.
Deal. Good deal. Well, that's. I'm glad we have that. Also, let's U of A. Let's get Silverfield verified on Twitter. And the blue check just always makes it look a little bit better. Let's get him verified. Let's pay that $13 a month, and let's make that happen, please. Jeez, Quinn. Super J says, in a month, I'll give you guys a tour around campus. Man, you were at Mama Goldberg sucking down a pitcher of beer by yourself, man. That time we and Curtis did a show from there, so I may have to do that again.
That'd be good.
That place is cool.
Yeah, it was. And then Quinn says,
we got to stay in the same place, right?
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I need to try to see if it's booked. So we'll see.
Andrew will love it there, man.
Yeah,
it'll be a fun trip.
Solid spot. Quinn also says Golish will just tell y'all how bad your chick is. We'll join the club because everybody tells us that these days.
Yeah, we definitely don't need to be informed of that.
Something in common, I guess.
I mean, you see, I was like,
we can tell him how bad Hunter Yurachek is, frankly.
I'd say when you got Nick Saban going on TV, I was hoping he'd go on one of his media rants. So I'd always do, just be like, because one of my favorite Nick Saban things was the one where he was like, y'all just think that anytime a player gets hurt, we just crap out another player, okay? And like I was hoping that would be into one of those rants that he had, but yeah, it was pretty epic. So, let's see. Kingsley says Shaq following Mateos, or did he get processed, or is there something else going on? Emoji of thinking.
I guess it would depend on where Mateos winds up. We were talking about it off air, and I was like, maybe that's the Mateos bargaining chip, for whatever job he's trying to get. Hey, you get me, and I'll bring him with me. And that's just something that you do. I'm not even saying that's nefarious, but I would be doing that. It's like, hey, look at the offensive line improvement. Here's some of these young guys. I think I can get some of them to follow me. It's kind of how it works in this business. So maybe I highly doubt that they processed him, unless it was a situation where, and it's all speculation, but if he walked in there to a meeting and was like, I want you to guarantee me a starting spot, or I want you to guarantee me this money in NIL or whatever. And Silverfield's like, nah, fam, we're not going to do that. So
it's stunning. Over the years, there's been about 4 players that have left Arkansas baseball and had any degree of success elsewhere. And almost all of them did that move of like kind of wanted a promise, wanted an assurance, wanted something. And it was just like, not that we can't do that, but it's like we just aren't, like, on principle, we are not going to do that. Jackson Rutledge, we are not going to just guarantee that you're the Friday night starter. That's not how this works. And so, yeah, it is kind of crazy how much that goes on. It took me a while with this chat to realize, because I thought he said he was following on Twitter, and he was like, Shaq following Mateos. And I'm like, dang, did he just now follow Mateos on Twitter? Like, it took me like a second while you were talking to like realize what was going on.
Also, too, real quick, guys, I got, from my intel, my sources, apparently, people were just speaking of like GMs, because I think, Kingsley also said, my guess is it's pay cut season for a lot of these guys. That's what happens when you bring in a sports specific GM with experience. Those bad contracts get renegotiated. I will say that there is a guy named Gazka Crowley who's interviewing for a GM role, but he's going to work directly under Remy Cofield, but he's not saying he's getting the job, but he's interviewing it. And he's a guy that's from Arizona. That was the GM over there. And so apparently they're trying to, again, I don't know if this is how they're doing it, but it certainly feels like they're probably like, hey, you are a football GM. You answer to Remy.
Just have one? Didn't we just get a football GM like the other day?
Is he not going to do that?
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking, is that he may not be doing that role. The guy that they brought over from Memphis might be in some other role.
He's like a scouting guy or something. This is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is very interesting news.
I mean, this time 1 year ago, Arkansas not only didn't have a GM, but had no plans to get one until April. That was where we were at 1 year ago today. So whether it's just Remy, whether it's Remy and a football guy, Remy and two football guys, Remy and three friends that are all going to get together and tell these kids they're poor, I don't care. But it's like you definitely do need somebody in that role. So I'm all for it.
Yeah. I am too. Shout out to those band geeks for being a member for 4 months. Make sure you like and subscribe, maybe even share the show. Got something to say? Or if you're just feeling charitable, super chats are always read. Well, I mean, are you like our bot that we've put in? Of like, hey, just be sure to say these things. Well done, those band geeks. It sounds like something you would say.
Yeah. I appreciate those band geeks. There's a couple other people that do it. I've always noticed band geeks doing it, where he'll comment and he'll like comment on a Pot at the Palace and just be like, I'm commenting for the algorithm. Like I'm just doing my part. I don't even have anything to say, but I'm commenting. I like that.
I still get, and maybe it's because they all hang out together at Bud Walton Arena, but I still get those band geeks and the student section mixed up all the time.
Yeah.
Like in a way, I think it's the same person. And it's very much not.
The band geeks don't troll as much as the student section.
Yeah.
Well, then there was like another student section, or maybe it was like that guy that was like Showtime Sports, and some of them all kind of blend together for me. Sometimes.
Yeah. Y'all need to be more creative and unique with your usernames instead of having us blend them together. All right, need to do that. Let's see. Also, Hickory Hawk says Amen has the vertical of Mekhi Mitchell.
Dang.
It's rough.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Mekhi Mitchell did not have much of a vertical. I feel like Arkansas's had players with lower verticals than Mekhi.
I feel like anybody brings that up, it's I was gonna say, I feel like anytime someone brings it up, it's like Trey Thompson's always the first one I think of, like with like no vertical, because I don't know if I ever saw him jump. But that's a pretty rough look. Let's see. William Silverback says, looks like Shaq plays like Jane. Nice.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that is good.
Hey, could Jane power through the goal line for a 1 yard rushing touchdown? If she does, I'll tip my hat.
You're right.
That's right. Addison says, do we need more GMs or O-line coaches?
Hey, serious though, GMs for real.
Yeah.
Listen,
money made.
It goes back to the whole thing like we talked about. But I'm saying, like, I don't care how many, like, we have no first impression as far as a season goes and all of that for Silverfield. So, like, it's different if if you're going into a sixth year and you start seeing stuff like this, because you're like, oh, I don't know about this because we've seen this. It's like, no, this could be the best thing ever. It could be the best idea ever to have 2 offensive line coaches or to have multiple like people helping him with GM roles. Like, it could be. Like, I'm willing to give it a shot. Like, but I'm not going to sit here and just be like, this is the stupidest thing ever. Getting these 2 offensive line coaches is an absolute unmitigated disaster. Has no idea what he's talking about. I was like, there's just no reason to feel that way right now, at least.
Well, I know I just made the point, but like, I do think it cannot be overstated. And I have to clarify, I love Sam Pittman, but how for the last 10 months or so, Sam Pittman pretty much didn't, I wouldn't say he gave it his full effort to recruit at the highest level possible and cross every T, dot every I. And for 4 months during portal season last year, they didn't even have any GM, let alone like a leadership council or a football specific or a sport, anything. So it's like, I'm not saying that Arkansas's portal class is about to just be night and day way better, but it's like, I do think it helps having an actual coach that is like trying his best, a staff that is all very motivated. They all want to do their best job. And now you actually have some administration people helping out. Even if it's not great, even if it's not the best in the SEC, it's like it's so much better than 1 year ago today when you had a coach coming off hip surgery with no support staff whatsoever. I think it's going to be a very bit different circumstance for Arkansas this portal season, which could help.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have our heavy hitters, but a few more chats in here too. Omri just says, John, are we rocking this hat until Christmas Day? Props to you, man, for the itchy scalp. Yes, because this is the same hat I've worn like every Christmas for content for like 4 years. Can't really wash a Santa hat though, so it's probably disgusting. But either way, yes.
Spray some like little,
cologne,
some little fabric, whatever, some Febreze.
Febreze,
yeah, it's fine. It's I was telling Cameron there was like some little stain on it or something the first day I wore it. Went and got one of those Mr. Clean magic erasers and just worked out well. So
does it make your scalp itchy? Like, is it uncomfortable for you?
Not really. I mean,
I'm just curious.
Looks like a high quality Santa hat.
Looks. Yeah, he got that mink on there, man.
Nothing but the best.
He skint a goat for that hat, man.
I'm just sitting here over here, like just continuing to quote like office quotes from the Santa Claus episodes and like Christmas Vacation, because it's like if I get the Santa hat on, I got to get in the spirit. So, let's see. Brad says, any Pot at the Palace hoodies coming? Yes, actually, that's been a topic of conversation. We're going to do a pre-order on those. Yeah, going to do a pre-order on those as well, because we got to know how many people are going to be ordering them. But that's going to be starting up today. So
we're getting like a request a day here recently. So that's good. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So it's great. So yeah, we got the right shade of red Razorback, or I can't say Razorback. Sorry, right shade of red shirts that are going to be on pre-order. So if you haven't got one of those, but yeah, we'll have Pot at the Palace pre-orders as well. So be on the lookout for that. Let's see. Cats by 21. It's good to see. He says, I need a members only stream and got some stuff I need to get off my chest.
He's been spamming the chat more than he has commented on this show more than any other chatter, I guarantee. What do you mean you have stuff to get off your chest? How much more could you possibly have to get off your chest?
He doesn't need it for the whole public, an intimate setting with his peers. He just needs to vent a little bit. He doesn't want them Mark Pope allegations he's going to throw out there to be for everybody's eyes.
Golly, how about his quote last night? My goodness, dude.
Goodness gracious, man. You want to talk about somebody needing to get over it?
Yeah, like
he used the terminology violent multiple times, by the way. Because I remember last year after they lost to Arkansas and he like punched a hole in the wall and whatever, that term violent came out. And I don't know if it was a report or whatever, but it's like, what is Mark Pope doing after losses? Is he harming players?
Yeah. Well, he said yesterday, the quote was, we're having a major overhaul reconstruction. It's been super emotional and really taxing at times, and at times really ugly and violent. We're reconsidering everything. I'm like, what's going on over there? Y'all like having like Abu Dhabi back there over there with like what's happening? It's like
he overdoes it with everything. He's got to be so dramatic with everything he says. You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like a very dramatic and whiny way of saying we're making a tweak. And they used to freak out John Calipari every year when he'd say, we're making the tweak. And it's exactly what Mark Pope is doing right now. And people are going to buy into all of it.
What a funny thing to be upset about. It's like, our coach, he's making tweaks.
Yeah.
He's tinkering with the lineup. He's changing things up to see if he can get a better result. Like, why would that bother anybody?
Yeah. And they'll beat up on Kentucky Christian or whatever tonight. And folks will get real excited about it. And then they'll get popped by Indiana, and they'll be right back into the pits of hell. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just can't wait for Kentucky to go to the pits of Indiana and be irrelevant for basketball for years to come. Because just remember, if it wasn't for John Calipari, you guys would have been as irrelevant as anybody over the past 20 years or so. Because like Tubby Smith was fine and all, but don't forget Billy Clyde Gillespie. And you always think that grass is always greener on the other side when it's not. So. But also shout out to John Pigman, who gave super chases. The fact that a Kentucky fan is in here every day is so sad. LOL. Go worry about that awful team in Lexington. No, John Pigman. We welcome all listeners of all walks of life and watchers. So
yeah, I do like Cats though. I'm not gonna lie. I appreciate Cats. It's this is an important role that he plays here.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to turn away any support whatsoever. The only time I go into making fun of mode is whenever he tries to flip it on us and be like, "Oh, you guys are hanging on. You guys need to move on," or whatever. It's like, dude, like, come on, like, have some self-awareness here.
Yeah. So did we ever decide there's like, where's Cats by 90? Did he just go away?
We think it's the same guy that maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Well, StreamYard's pissed me off when we've stopped having actual names and started using usernames. That's really annoying because I like to, because I hate going. It's just like, YOLO Swag 420 says, it's like, I'd like to actually know your name instead. But either way, we'll have more of your chats, folks. But let's go ahead and get into our heavy hitters presented by HD Roofing and Construction, because we know storms can hit at the most unexpected times here in the state of Arkansas. Weather seems to be pretty nice today, but hey, give it time. Could have some high winds coming in, could have some rain, some lightning, some storms. You can even have snow and ice, which is going to be that time of year as well. So make sure that your roof is good to go, because there's nothing worse than having to deal with a roof that is leaking or having damage, and could cause not only damage to the roof, but damage to your home, damage to possessions, and even damage to you. So have HD Roofing, who is the best in the business when it comes to their professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. And they have an office in both Northwest Arkansas and Central Arkansas. If you're in the Northwest Arkansas area, call 479-957-1928. That's 479-957-1928. And if you're in Central Arkansas, call 501-428-0429. That's 501-428-0429. And also check out their website at hdarkansas.com. It's HD Roofing and Construction, our official sponsor of our heavy hitters here on Inside Arkansas. So getting into our heavy hitters, guys, I actually got quite a few, but I'll just give one so that way I don't take any of y'all's just in case. But I wanted to give a shout out to Cam Ball. And I know that, listen, there's times where, players will run out of eligibility, and some of them you're like, all right, good riddance, whatever. And some of them you're like, oh, okay, it's whatever. But when you're a 2-10 team and that's your final impression, it's really it's just kind of a bad look. And Cam Ball put out a really great message. I'm not going to read it all because it was like 3 pages worth of a message to Razorback fans and everything. But Cam Ball was definitely a guy where you never heard anything bad about. You never heard him complain about anything. I remember I got the chance to sit down and talk with him at SEC Media Days, and what just came out about the passing of his dad, and how much that meant to him, and his just entire approach to the game and everything. It's like, and how the fact that he was at Arkansas, he wanted to be a Razorback. That's just a rare thing that I feel like needs to and deserves to be called out for being a heavy hitter, because he is a heavy guy. But not to sit here and say that he was an All-American. Hopefully he finds a home maybe in the NFL or something like that. But was just really happy to. The fact that he went through it all. And again, 2-10 is probably not what he came back for and signed up for, especially given the circumstances. His coach, as Deke Adams, gets fired, in the middle of the year. He toughed it out. And so I just feel like as much of a negative feeling we'll have on this past season, and rightfully so, there is some lightning that shines through the darkness, like Cam Ball. So I just want to give him a shout out, and he's my heavy hitter for his message and the fact that he's always going to be a Razorback, and wish him nothing but the best of luck moving forward.
I guess he left a lot of money on the table too to come back to Arkansas and everything. So, yeah, good on him. Didn't go the way anybody hoped it would, but Cam's good people, man. Good ambassador for the program. A hog that we all love.
They say character is what you do, or what's the terminology that they have here? Where it's like when it's easy to be a good person when things are going well, but it's like your character and your integrity shows up when how you respond to adversity. And I think Cam Ball is like a perfect microcosm of that, because it's like, you sign up for your senior year, you come back, you maybe even take a pay cut, and you go 8-4 and you get drafted. Like, that's easy. It's easy to be a leader in the locker room during that setting. It's easy to have a smile on your face and attack and work hard and all that when everything's going well. I really appreciate that Cam Ball, who, by the way, had like injury after injury. I mean, this dude was not healthy for even a single second this year. And we never saw him look frustrated. We never heard anything about, Cam Ball's mad at his teammates or whatever. I really do. I could not have more respect for Cam Ball. And I hate that it played out the way it did for him, frankly.
Yep. Same here.
How about literally the heaviest hitter of all time, Phillip Rivers?
Man. Yep. That was one of them. I'm glad I didn't mention all of them, because that was one of them.
Signed the practice squad deal with the Indianapolis Colts. He's back. He's back, man. That's just funny for a lot of reasons. How long has he been out of the league?
Since 2020.
It's been a minute, yeah.
Goodness.
And he was old then, too.
Yeah. So, good on him. That's all. I just wanted to,
Well, as you guys, I don't know if you guys know, but my buddy Devin, he's a Colts fan. That's his favorite team in the NFL. And all he does is complain on Twitter all the time. Like Sundays are my favorite things following him because I have notifications for him turned on and he'll just be complaining about the refs. But he was just one of those guys, season's over. We suck. It's over with. And I was like, well, you got Phillip Rivers now. He's 44. He could probably still play. But we always love the redemption story. How cool it would be to him like come in and, I don't know, get to the playoffs, maybe win a game. That'd be a really cool story at age of 44.
It would not be that cool because they would likely be, that would mean he beat the Texans to finish the year. So it actually wouldn't be that cool. But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. That's great. What about you, Andrew?
So, my heavy hitter's got to be World Wrestling Entertainment. I had a tremendous night last night in Kansas City. If anyone tuned into Netflix, like I said on yesterday's show, I did go back and look. If you look real close, there's like a specific angle early in the show where you can see a little blue hoodie with Adidas on it. That's me. I'm very up there. But I was at WWE Monday Night Raw, which was honestly like the child in me, growing up being obsessed with wrestling. I never got to go to a real like actual TV show. They would come and do like, have you ever been to like those house shows they would do in like the worst venues ever? They would come they would come to Alexandria Coliseum and they would never give us any of the real wrestlers. They didn't even have lights working for those. But so to like be there for a real Monday Night Raw on Netflix, the lighting, I was with our boy Hazelwood, who made a great point that the folks at Arkansas could learn a lot from the production quality of the WWE with just the lighting, keeping the fans engaged, everything. It's quite the show. I had a great time. And so that's my heavy hitter. But I also want to give a quick shout out to the Browns quarterback room. Have y'all been following this whole ordeal? I mean, really from the day one, it's been crazy with Shedeur Sanders, who's obviously very polarizing. But then you have Dylan Gabriel ends up taking over for Joe Flacco. And there was a moment where he looked competent. Then you have Dylan Gabriel's wife or girlfriend or fiance or whatever. She's going out on TikTok and being like, everyone in that locker room wants Dylan Gabriel to be the quarterback. They all hate Shedeur Sanders, blah, blah, blah. And like, it's been this whole like back and forth mess between like 2 5th-round picks. It's the funniest thing ever. Neither guy has any chance of being a franchise quarterback in the NFL. Like both guys are just not good. The Browns are openly tanking. The funniest part about this whole thing is Deshaun Watson has now been activated from the physically unable to perform list. He could be returning to this mix here soon, although they did just announce yesterday that Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starter for the rest of the year. But I just wanted to give a shout out to them because it cracks me up when people get mad about stuff that they have no reason to be mad about. Like the Browns quarterback situation is a thing we all made fun of for decades. Like it's a running joke. And Dylan Gabriel is a 5'9", noodle arm, 26-year-old who's not a franchise quarterback. And Shedeur Sanders is a 5'10", noodle arm, 5th-round pick, not a franchise quarterback. But we have like Stephen A. Smith leading First Take with like, is there a conspiracy for Shedeur? It's cracking me up. And so as a fan of just sports, I love making fun of other people's situations. And the Browns quarterback one is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I try not to follow because I think it's all stupid. But I did see like some tweet today that apparently Shannon Sharp thinks that the Browns are sabotaging Shedeur Sanders by letting him start. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you're barking about him not starting. Then when he starts, right, I think they're just trying to get him to set up for failures. Like, who cares about the Browns and a bunch of quarterbacks that are extremely average or below average? Like, why has this become a thing? But it's literally because Shedeur Sanders. Like, it's Deion's son. That's why. So, I will say also real quick to your thing about wrestling. You're talking about being in, places that aren't, like, what was it? You said that like locations that are kind of random whenever they do those house shows or whatever. One of the greatest quotes from Stone Cold Steve Austin when he talks about beer, whiskey, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, all that was Jonesboro, Arkansas. That's where it happened. Yeah. Because I saw someone in the chat bring it up too. Because as soon as he gets done and everyone's what in between, he goes, because I wasn't just going to drink in Jonesboro. I was going to drink all night long. And everyone's like, yeah. It's like, man, Fayetteville could never get that. But Jonesboro gets stone cold over there.
Back then it was like, joke's on you. You're not drinking here, period, buddy.
Yes. Exactly, man.
By the way, I will also say, because I got to watch Logan Paul wrestle last night. I got the great honor of watching Logan Paul not only wrestle, but he won a match due to some tomfoolery. He's a very real heel. Like I'm talking about that venue, that was 15,000 people all in unison booing. which, you may view as a bad thing. That's hard to do, frankly, but good for him.
He's really good at that. He's a crazy athlete.
He's good at it, dude. Paul Heyman, and he's with Paul Heyman, who, if y'all don't know Paul Heyman, the man, Paul Heyman came out doing his whole thing about they don't have women in Kansas City, so gentlemen and the people you came here with, I want to introduce you. And he's doing all these great bits. People made fun of the Chiefs. 2 different wrestlers cut a promo making fun of the Chiefs where they were like, that'll be the second L Kansas City has taken this week. And I'm like, oh, heck yeah, that's us.
Nice.
Yeah. And you also said Joe Tessitore was there last night too.
Yeah,
Joe Tess.
I didn't realize they do that. Like before the show starts, the ring announcers get their own walkout. And so like Wade Barrett, who used to wrestle, he gets his, but like Joe Tessitore has like walkout music and everything. I'm like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah. Someone in the chat asked if Dalton Wagner's still doing stuff with wrestling. I don't
think he ever was. I think that was like a fake NIL deal thing.
Oh, I thought he actually like did something with them. Maybe that was where maybe it was Trey Biddy kept saying like, oh, you would do great things with this. He never did.
WWE, when NIL first started, they signed like 7 college football players, and it's like, oh, we're going to do this like promotional deal or whatever. I don't think Dalton Wagner like went and like trained at the PI and was like about to bust out the singlet. But I think he did. He was under some type of NIL deal when NIL first started.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Also, real quick before we get back into the chat, folks, another little quick heavy hitter I have. Shout out to the Dodgers because they just do whatever they want in the offseason. They signed Edwin Diaz to a 3-year, $69 million deal. Nice. And, my buddy Brendan, I just said, because they still suck. He's like, yep, still suck. It's like, all right, cool. All right, so a few of your chats here, folks. Appreciate it. Quinn says, my heavy hitter, appreciate it, is Mark Pope, the violent Mormon. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yep, it's of course he's the guy that just talks about violence, but if I heard he did something violent, I would laugh because I'm like, there's no way that man like harmed anything or anybody.
Did he wasn't there one game last year he showed up at the post game and his hand was bleeding or something? And
yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that.
I'm telling you, this guy's a savage.
Yeah. Like one day he's going to walk into a press conference. He's going to have an eye patch on. You're going to be like, so what happened? Don't worry about it. Okay. This is a symbol of how incredible mankind has become and serious about the awfulness and terribleness that just surrounds us and trying to make peace with everyone.
Yeah.
What?
He had such an epiphany during his meditation that just a black eye appeared. So
yeah. Yes, exactly. I love this from Makery Hawk. Soak with Pope. Stop.
That's crazy.
That's wild, man.
That's crazy.
That's wild. Very nice, though. Very nice. Big Blue Productions. I wonder who they root for. Says nothing compared to Arkansas fans and KSR's comments. Get out of here, dude.
I just wanted to appreciate the irony.
This is next level of lack of self-awareness to be a Kentucky fan at an Arkansas show complaining about Arkansas fans in KSR's comments, which I'm sure there are some Hog fans in there, but I can't imagine it's as consistent as there are. I mean, literally Cats by 21 is a member of our channel. You know what I mean? Like he's here every single day. Like I can't imagine there's that many Hog fans that are like members at other places.
I do go back to my thought that we had last year about all this. I love it though.
Oh, sure.
On both ends. This is a good thing. It's a good thing for both programs, good thing for college basketball.
Well, I was just going to bring up like our video wise, because this is always a great indication. Not our lives, just our posted videos. Of our top 5, 3 of them have to do with like Arkansas basketball in Kentucky, because one of them is Matt Jones when he joined us. Yeah. Another one is when I went on Feinbaum to talk about Cal. And another one is the first thing that we saw of their practice highlights, like, because that's our most viewed one ever, was that one. And so it's like you talk about, they got just you care about this thing. It's like, well, no, because then also John Calipari's our most live when he arrives at Drake Field. John Calipari, when he got hired, is there too. So point is, it's a thing that where both fan bases are in both, but don't act like it's like, yeah, we don't do that. We're not about that stuff. We're focused on our. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. Let's see. Also, shout out to our guy Jerry. Says another great show, guys. We love all things Razorbacks. Appreciate your insights. Yeah, we met Jerry over at Blue Ember when we were there last week.
Yeah.
So.
Appreciate that.
Good time.
Yep. Former vet, or I guess he is a vet. I should say former vet. He's an Army veteran. So yeah.
He got his vet status revoked. He's turning 85 here like real soon.
Yeah. He used to play round ball. He was telling us some cool stories, man.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. Really appreciate him. Let's see. John Pigman comes a member, so we appreciate that. Pigman, appreciate you.
Pigman.
Hickory Hog says, I would buy Cats a beer, but he would have to drink it elsewhere or somewhere else. BBN is unbearable. So
I would drink a beer with Cats.
I would not only drink a beer with Cats, I would allow, I mean, not that I have the authority to allow him anywhere, but it's like, I think we should, especially because as many Kentucky fans that are weird on the internet, there are a lot of Kentucky fans in real life who welcomed us with open arms, bought us drinks, let us, hang out at their establishments. So we have to pay it forward. And whenever, if any Kentucky fans come to Fayetteville, we gotta invite them and let them do their thing.
Yeah, because I even said to guys at KSR that, hey, if they come for the Arkansas-Kentucky game, I mean, we don't have a cool bar of our own, but we can go to Goat Lab or something and hang out and, do some content and everything. I don't know if that'll happen, but also randomly, do you guys know Steven over at KSR?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he got hacked because he's the second guy that's DM'd me about crypto stuff. And it's like, like media members. And I'm like, oh, no. And then as soon as I look at his profile, he's turned his replies off and he's like unfollowed everybody. I'm like, oh, it's brutal. Because I had somebody, I almost fell for it. I had somebody who does satellite radio for Sirius XM 84 for college. He's DMing me. He's like, hey, man, vote for me on this thing. I want to be this podcast deal. And I'm like looking at it. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's cool. Whatever. I was like, yeah, give me a second. And then I started looking. I'm like, wait a minute. This is taking too much time. This is too much work. And it's lo and behold, he got trolled or got hacked. So, yeah, anybody that ever says that they tweet out some random fact that's not true, they didn't get hacked. That's getting hacked when you get crypto stuff. That's getting hacked. Mm-hmm. Addison says Logan Paul has Eurocheck levels of disapproval.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Hickory Hog just says Hickory Hog's on one today. He's like, I'm going to fly down just for the post game show.
It's okay too. Yeah.
We can do that. I mean, I hear that there's some direct flights to the DFW area, so I want to do that. But yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to because I remember when we did the shows in Providence post game for sure. It was so much fun to have happen. But just as far as those were the only games traveling wise for basketball, I felt like we actually got to do a post game show on location that ended up being a happy one because all the other ones were not that way. John Sullivan says John is going to crash out when the Razorback t-shirts are the same color as Texas Tech's. Yeah, probably so. As long as they don't wear the jerseys that way. Can we just, okay, I don't want to, can we just make the 1994 jerseys permanent? Can we just do this? I don't know why. Yeah. Listen, I know that I've been complaining about everything in life about Arkansas, but I'm like, this is something I really want. Like, I think everybody wants it. Just make it permanent. Just make it permanent.
It'd be one thing if we were asking like, hey, y'all need to change up everything and you need to get back to the drawing board or whatever. Like, this is a very easy one because it's like the solution is already there. You own the jerseys. You have the washer and dryer. Just, do it.
Yeah, exactly. A few more here. Cats by 21 says if Lowe will stay healthy, we can finally see if a junior Lowe is better than freshman Acuff. I don't know what that
he's
trying
not.
To say.
I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
that's like saying
you could give Jalen Lowe a third arm and he wouldn't be as good as Darius Acuff.
We'll find out when Jaden Quaintance gets back if he's going to be better than Hakeem Olajuwon.
Because what did Acuff in the past 2 games he had? What was it? 18 assists and like 4 turnovers total, something crazy like that. Had a double. Anytime you get a double it's impressive. But if you get a double with assist, that's big time. He needs to get the triple-double. No offense to Courtney Fortson, but we need another triple-double person besides Courtney Fortson.
Anthony Black flirted with one the other night in the NBA, Curtis, and I almost texted you and was like, hey, we've been saying Anthony Black's a triple-double threat since he was 17, and he has not had a triple-double in like 5 years. Like, I've never seen it happen, but he almost did it in the NBA.
Yeah.
The triple single.
Yeah. Cats, you could maybe you could make that comparison with some other guys on the the Low to Acuff thing that's not the one you wanted to do.
Start with Billy Richmond. Be better than Billy Richmond first, and then you can kind of maybe work from there.
Whew, it's tough.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, hey, Brian says Ellis, 9 weeks till Hogs baseball. Do weekly series till the season. Top 9 most important returners. 8 best draft prospects for 2026. 7 best home series. Man, it's going to be like the 12 days of Christmas, but for baseball, yeah.
I like that. I mean, listen, I'll do some form of all of that, like most important returners, draft prospects or whatever, especially over the holidays as we ramp up here. Once you get back from Christmas, they start scrimmaging and stuff, man. That excitement is going to be at an all-time high. I'm really excited for baseball, man. I'm excited to get going on that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring this up also from Big Blue Productions. He said, being the natural state is the definition of being a mid-program. Or the bluegrass state. What does that mean? Like, isn't that what Kentucky is, the bluegrass state? So I don't know what that's trying to say. I don't know. Like, whatever you got to do.
What sentence means. Like, what, like being the natural state means mid? Because we have clean water?
Listen, they're grasping for straws, man. They have no basketball team. They're grasping for straws.
You can do better.
Yeah.
This reminds me of when we were doing the call-ins and that dude called in. He was on Shaky Jane on us.
Yeah. What happened to the guy that was supposed to give us the clown costume?
That was him. Yeah. Yeah. Because he's like, yeah, what size are you? Large?
Size clown costume? I don't know.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to bring in 3 clown costumes when you guys go to KS Bar. Wear them. Okay. All right. That was great, man. I do miss that. I wish that it'll get ramped up again, but man, that time frame of just the animosity that was going on, it felt, for once as a Razorback fan, I felt like we had a true rivalry with somebody that, like, the mutual hate was there. Like, it felt great.
We need both teams to be good going into the game, because last year obviously Arkansas was struggling up until that point. Maybe Kentucky figures it out before then, but it ain't looking great right now for them. Like, 1 year, both these teams will be awesome, and then it'll get super, super heated. And I look forward to that.
Yep.
Hopefully it's when they're playing twice a year at that point would be cool. But
you know what? I know we got a few more chats and we'll get here, but like, one of the things I really hope for, and I actually had a weird dream about this the other night because I was delirious. If Arkansas, whether it's this year, maybe next year, whatever, beats Kentucky so badly that the next morning they fire Mark Pope, that he's the one that ended it. That Cal's the one that just ended it. It's like, you can't do this anymore. They're Popey. That's what I'm hoping, but we'll see. Geez, Quinn, sorry. I missed I got to get the Quinn super chats or you're just going to yell at me. He says, I want to show Andrew the new upgraded Plainsman Park.
I would like to see Plainsman Park. Man, Arkansas's had some fun games over there at Auburn. It's always like the games always just get off the rails. So I would definitely like it. It's one of the more unique, like the high left field fence, the weird corner in left center where it's like a little black hole there. Like, it's just a very unique park. I would love to visit Plainsman Park.
By the way, when we go for the basketball game too, I'm giving it another chance because we talked about it, not to piss you off, Quinn, but the atmosphere for the jungle for that game was not what we were hoping to see.
It was
going to give it another
He knew that too.
Yeah. And I think even Taylor Korn, she was like, yeah, it was just a little weird. I was like, okay, well, we'll give it another shot. Yeah. Because we'd been hearing about how it's one of the best.
I think they could sense their impending doom. They snuck out of there anyway, but
Yeah. Yeah. At least we won't have to worry about Big Z going 0-10 and whatever that guy's name is, getting a technical for saying he didn't do anything. What was his name? Chad Baker-Mazara. Yeah. Yeah, sitting there like pointing and talking trash to the bench like 8 times in a row, and then he gets a tech and he just starts running and skipping down the court like, I can't believe that just happened.
He's doing that for Eric Musselman now. Eric Musselman, who's playing against his alma mater tonight, San Diego, by the way. Man,
that's wild. I still root for Muss, but one of these days I keep hoping to see him go viral for something that just makes people
tough loss for Muss on Saturday, low key. I almost was texting y'all celebrating. I'm like, dude, they're up 12. Like, this is awesome, And then I checked the score and I saw they lost. I was like, oh dang.
Yeah, that's brutal. Arkansas, appreciate the super chat. Goes, Curtis, would a win away from Bud be the resume piece that key is keeping the Hogs from being a top 10 team in the metrics?
Yeah, I mean, it would go a long way towards that for sure. Either one of those games would be huge for him. I think that, and honestly, just not playing with your food in these last couple bye games. You don't have to go beat JMU and Queens by 100 or whatever, but just covering that analytically will go a long way for him. But yeah, if they win 3 out of 4 here in their final non-conference games, say you split those 2 big ones and you go ahead and pop those 2 mid-majors, then you're going to be in a really good spot going into SEC play.
I know we always say, like with football, we were like, hey, we shouldn't have to go to Jonesboro. We shouldn't have to go to Tulsa. We shouldn't have to go to Memphis or whatever. I actually do think in basketball, Arkansas needs to start scheduling some random, road trip to Tulsa. And it's, Tulsa will be like 140 whatever in the BPI or whatever. playing a game outside of your arena and winning that game is like the cheat code to unlocking the metrics. Like, you'd be stunned. You could play the worst team ever. If it is a quote unquote true road game, you're going to get a way bigger bump for that than you would anything else. So I wouldn't hate Arkansas maybe getting some of those. I know they play enough marquee matchups as is, but I wouldn't hate maybe getting like a little cheap road win.
Yes. Well, and that's what a lot of these teams have done. Like, they'll go win at Georgia Tech or something, and it looks way better than it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Arkansas is like all in on this. And I will say that's kind of what Kentucky has done too. Kentucky has played all really like awful, piss poor teams or some of the top teams in the country. And that's kind of how Arkansas shaped its schedule too. They've picked off one of those good wins now, so things look a lot better for them. And they've avoided getting beaten by 55 points to Gonzaga or whatever. But I think that's an important thing. I did the last segment of the pod this morning, which is like trying to explain to folks some of these different metrics because we reference them all the time. Like, what the hell is BPI? How's that different from KenPom and all this? And it is interesting how they weigh things a little bit differently. Everybody takes into account who you play and where you play them. But there was one of those things like BPI, for example. Did you guys know that they take into account the distance traveled for each team to a neutral site game? And like, so the things that they factor into their algorithms are crazy. And so it all matters a little bit.
A few more here real quick. John Pigman has super chat. Just says Inside Coping with Kentucky podcast. Right. Yeah. Might be the next one we go with. Addison calls Kentucky the blue ass state. So
nice.
There's that good one. And then Quinn says get in the players era tournament. That's what he says with super chat.
Cal won't do it, man.
No.
Yeah, I would love to be in something like that. Cal will not do it. He plays in those one-off games on neutral sites. He wants the spotlight to be on him, not an event. And like he not a dude who would go to Maui or Atlantis or whatever. I would be surprised if he did the players era thing. I think it would be awesome. Go get some NIL money and get 3 big games, but that ain't for him.
Listen, Chicago's great and like Newark's great and all that, but hey, the more you play in Dallas or in Kansas City or even like Memphis, like regional for Razorback fans to make a good trip to, I'm all for that. And finally, Finch just says, when will we get another live with the 3 amigos in 3-piece suits?
Dude, when did we do that? Was that?
It was right before the super regional, right?
Yeah.
Before. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So like early June, maybe.
Yeah. In the Hog Heaven house. Like it was like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So
shout out to the Hog Heaven house. Love
that. Fun.
Yeah. It was great. Man. It was great. But hopefully we get to have another, run to Omaha here in the May and June months. So
it's gonna be a special occasion for the suits for sure. I love that that's made its way onto our intro video every day.
Yes.
Also, there is a non-zero chance that I wear that Trevero suit at my wedding.
There's a non-zero chance I wear that Trevero suit at your wedding.
And I'll probably wear mine at your wedding too. So yeah,
that's when you'll see it. My wedding day. We'll do a quick little live stream. Just we'll be all right.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I got another super chat real quick. Captain 3 Legs says, when Pro Hogs visit, they ever practice with team?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Especially in the off season.
A lot of time, in the off season, in the summers, but yeah, those dudes come in and run with the Hogs all the time.
Yeah. I didn't know if it's specific a sport, but I was like, I know baseball for sure does.
Baseball
like all
for
those
sure.
Guys. Yeah. Basketball, yeah. Because I feel like Anthony Black just comes back just whenever he like has open time. Right. Yeah. And it makes sense.
You roll out a little layer of mud. The pigs are going to roll around. It doesn't matter. And it could be pigs of old, pigs of past, pigs of future. The pigs like to play in the mud.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, guys, any final thoughts before we get out of here for today?
Man, I wish I had something really wise to leave you guys with. I don't, though. Here's what I'll leave you with. Fun show today. Tomorrow's going to get off the rails. So buckle up and make sure you join us.
Wow, preemptively already putting tomorrow's show off the rails. I like that.
You know why.
Well, the other day we were doing the post-game show. I guess that would have been Saturday, and I said that the Hogs were going into their finals, right? Because this week is finals week. I think a lot of them were Monday. Like I think there are a lot of people that are done, but if you are a University of Arkansas student, lock in on those finals, or fingers crossed that you didn't fail all of your finals. But I always know as a college student, like that's like the worst week ever, but then it quickly turns into the best week ever where you're done and you're like, all right, it's Christmas. So I want to shout out to everybody during that time period, all the Hogs, all the baseball players. Championship level focus during this week. Do not let up even for a second.
Yep. Fun fact, I almost missed my final. I literally jumped in as soon as the door was shutting because I overslept. And they said, I'm glad you, and my teacher who knew my situation of how long I'd been in college just says, I'm glad you could pencil us into your otherwise demanding schedule. I was like, wouldn't miss it for the world. But there's that. And also the reason the show is going to go off the rails tomorrow is because I'm not going to be on it, folks. I am moving. So tomorrow's my moving today and tomorrow, but a lot tomorrow is going to be moving. And internet. I'm trying to have this thing hooked up, which apparently is important to what we do here at Inside Arkansas. So either way, it's going to be a lot of fun though. I'm sure there'll be everything will go perfectly fine and according to plan with zero problems whatsoever. So and trusting them. But either way, that'll do it for us, folks. Appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching in. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page. Follow us on social media at Inside Arkansas. Don't forget, we have a Blue Ember giveaway on our website, InsideArkansas.com, where 2 lucky listeners and watchers will be a chance to get $100 gift card for this holiday season. So be sure to do that. And we're going to keep it going from there. So that'll do it for us. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, and intern Cameron, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.